Her name was Belinda. She was about 2 rungs down the ladder of popularity from me, promoted by the horrendous high school caste system. She liked me a lot. I liked her, but of course I would never go against the feudal structure of high school USA to ask her out on a date. I would never survive the ridicule and humiliation. But I got lonely around Valentine's Day. My dad was sick and dying. One of the guys in our music group quit because his girlfriend thought he was taking too much time with us, and I had no idea whatsoever on what geometry was all about. So I quietly asked Belinda out on a date, hoping that because she was so devoted in my direction, there might be some necking involved. She was one of those farm girls raised on Bible principles, but was willing to renegotiate some of the terms on Saturday night. I wanted a neck. I had kissed girls, but had never sustained long sessions of smooching, and my curiosity had overtaken me, so I selfishly decided to take advantage of poor Belinda. She was thrilled, completely thrilled with the idea of going out on a date with me, and I told her let's keep it quiet because I told her we needed to see how things worked out. I took her to a drive-in movie, which in 1969 was code for "we're going to mess around." It took me nearly 30 minutes to work up the courage to put my arm around her, and then I was afraid to move it and therefore contracted some horrible cramps in my muscles, which continued through the entire evening. It was easy to get her to start kissing. She had thin lips, so the first couple of times I got mostly teeth. But after a minute or so, we got the hang of it, and she started slipping her tongue in my mouth, which was relatively new to me. Adapting the phrase, "when in Rome, do as the Romans do," I concluded, "when in France, do as the French do." We were about 10 minutes into the session when I realized that one of us had really stale breath. It wasn't really horrible. It was that dried smell of garlic bologna and over-chewed gum. I persisted. She really got into it, so much so that she unbuttoned her blouse, inviting me to see how alive the hills really were. I thought about it. After all, I was a teenager. Morals were something to discuss at church and feverishly avoid in your everyday life. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the ache in my bicep, or it could have been the halitosis. But I backed out of the encounter, tongue first. I took her home. She wondered what was wrong. She practically pleaded with me to see her again. And rat that I was, I went mousy and never spoke to her. It was an odd night. Rather than feeling fulfilled, I felt like I had used another human being who would suffer some pangs from the experience. It sucked. I did learn, though, that there is some pain in pleasure. The reason most people never pursue their goals is because along the way there are some shards of glass strewn in the pathway which either need to be avoided or walked over. If life was easy, dumb people would rule the world. Well, maybe they do. But life isn't easy. With every pain comes some pleasure, and the pleasures that arrive our way do require that we survive a bit of discomfort.